Hi, today we're going to be talking about monitoring your alarm system. You don't have to have your system monitored, but there are a lot of different advantages to actually doing the monitoring on your alarm system as opposed to just a local only system. There's basically three types of monitoring that you're going to have to consider when you have an alarm system. There's also there's different types of communication, and there's also different types of monitoring. So there's three basically of each type. So you need to find out which one you want to use. But basically, first, let's talk about what is alarm monitoring. What is alarm monitoring? Alarm monitoring is basically your system is being monitored and it alerts somebody else to the presence of an intruder or a fire or a carbon monoxide alarm. It monitors your alarm. Your alarm monitors your house, and someone else monitors your alarm, whether it be you or a central station or just a local bell that alerts anybody that might be in the area. There's also different types of alarm communication. As far as there's three different types of those. There's your POTS line, VoIP, and cellular monitoring. The first that we're going to discuss is the POTS line. When alarm systems came out, this was the only type of communication that there was available to monitor an alarm system. And that's just your regular old-fashioned phone line. What would happen is the phone line would be run from the street, and instead of going to your phone line first, it would go to your alarm panel and then back to all of your house phones. So that way, if you had an alarm, it would actually seize the line. You would have no more communication on your in-house phones, and it would talk to the central station and let them know some type of information. It was depending on what was programmed in, what would actually send, but they would know there was an alarm and usually where the alarm was. And once the alarm had communicated that information to the central station, it would not seize the line anymore and give you back your house lines. That way that we made sure that the communication got to where it needed to go. Next type is your VoIP. That's Voice over Internet Protocol. Basically, that uses your internet to transmit that same line that the POTS line used to. Problem with the POTS line and the VoIP sometimes has a latency problem where the information can get garbled to the other end. That's not as big a problem as far as I'm concerned as the same problem that the POTS line had. You can go outside of any house and within just a couple of minutes you can find where the line comes in for the phone or where the line comes in for the internet, and one snip of the dikes. That means that every month that you've been paying for your alarm system, now it's basically rendered disabled. It'll still make noise locally, but it can't tell anybody. It wants to, but it can't communicate to anybody because the line between the central station and your alarm system has been cut. The best type by far is cellular communication. That's the only type that we offer at DIYHomeSecuritySystems.org. Because frankly, there's no other reason to go with anything else. It can cost a few dollars more, but when you start to look around, you'll find out that it's not really that much more, if any more at all, and the reliability is phenomenal. There's no lines to cut, so it can really, virtually cannot be disabled in any way. And it allows for the most interactive of all of the systems to be able to shut it off, turn it on, find out what's going on, get video, so many things and so much more that cellular communication can do. That's why it is the best, and it's the only one that we offer. There's also different types of monitoring. That means how you're going to do it. There's basically local only, where it doesn't tell anybody but you. You've got self-monitoring, where it only tells you. And then you've got central station, which is basically a combination of all three, where it'll do local only. It'll ring an alarm locally. It'll tell you on your smartphone or any computer that you have it set up on, and it'll also tell central station. So the first we're going to talk about is local only alarm monitoring. Local alarm only means that it only sounds a local alarm. No matter what the alarm is, whether it's fire, carbon monoxide, somebody opens a door, doesn't matter. It sets off the alarm and the alarm rings. In California, the alarm is supposed to cut off in 8 minutes. That's the law. so it can't just ring on all day long. So basically, if you're not home and a neighbor doesn't hear it while it's ringing for those 8 minutes, then it shuts off. And as long as the burglar can stay in there long enough to listen to it and not, it doesn't bother them, then they can clean you out and you will never know. The next type is self-monitoring. Now, self-monitoring means that your alarm goes off, it makes the local noise, but it also transmits a signal to somewhere like Total Connect or Alarm.com. That sends the information to any internet connected device. So it can be your tablet, it can be your computer, it can be your smartphone, and it'll let you know exactly what's going on. It'll tell you what the alarm is, where the alarm is. If you've got a 2 gig system, it can actually even send you an image of what tripped it and let you know who's in your house or who shouldn't be in your house. So that's self-monitoring. At that point, you can make the decision whether you want to call 911 and have them send the police out. But so you're the one doing self-monitoring. This type of monitoring is less expensive. Problem is with it, most alarm companies don't want to offer this type of monitoring. They want to go just the full monitoring with the central station, which is what I'm going to talk about next. The last but not least is central station. Central station is the most expensive, and it makes sense because not only do you get your local only, you have your self-monitoring because you'll still get your alerts through alarm.com, but you'll also, those same alerts that you get will automatically be forwarded over to the central station. The central station will normally call you to confirm whether you want to dispatch the police or not, just to try to keep false alarms down. So basically, that's the different types of monitoring and the different types of communication. By far, the best combination is to use cellular for the communication and use central station, because one thing, you're not always at home. So if you're not at home, how do you know if it's a false alarm, the dog tripped it, the wind blew on the garage door? You don't really know. And if it's a smoke detector going off, you want the fire station to be dispatched. You don't want to just think, oh, it's a false alarm, and then come home to just a pile of ashes. So that is by far the best way. But it is also the most expensive way. A lot of people are going more to the self-monitoring because they get all of the same alerts. They can still have the police dispatched by calling up 911. And a lot of people just don't believe that the police are actually going to do any good. That by the time the police get there, the burglars will be gone. Problem is that as far as smoke detection, usually a smoke detector, there are not usually too many false alarms, especially if you're not at home. So you definitely want the fire department dispatched. But these are choices that you have to make. Once you have your alarm system installed, you can certainly find a company. Sometimes you have to look harder than others. Anybody will monitor it with central station. The tougher one to find is somebody that will actually install it and just go local only. Because frankly, the alarm companies want your monthly payment. There's no other way to say it. That's what they want. Some places won't even install a system for you if you don't get central station monitoring. That's why at DIY Home Security, all the power is in your hands, because you can install it, and once you have that system installed, you can call up anybody and you can actually negotiate how much you're going to pay per month and what services you want. Basically, just don't let them bully you. So that's Bill, the alarm guy, signing off, and that's what you have to decide about monitoring your alarm system.